Welcome to my shop. I wanted to show you my new router table, which I have finally completed. I did not film the entire process of putting it together. However, I was able to gather some video clips that will show some of the process along the way. Hopefully you will enjoy. This is my sad old router table from way back in the day. There came a project. I was building a kitchen. I needed a better router table, and I purchased this Incra fence system, so I needed to build a whole new setup. Here's my router table top, all brand new and shiny. Didn't stay that way for long, of course, but sure looks nice. I very quickly realized I needed to build a new work table as well. Both of them have an MDF top, and both of them I lined with a kind of spalted maple. This table has been a absolute game changer in my shop, and maybe someday I will finish it, put some drawers in, and make a video about that. I used this router tabletop for quite a while without any kind of base because I just didn't have time with the project I was doing. I had to build something like 20 drawers, and at the time that was quite a new thing for me. I had never done dovetails, and so building those drawers was off as it was. So I knew that someday in the future, when I was had a kind of a lull, I could build a cabinet. Trying to lay it out, and what I ended up doing, this is going to be a back here. There'll be a floor. The router table itself will sit on top, so this router section here will be in this side of the cabinet. This is kind of as close as I could get to that, and then this is as far on this side as I could go. There's going to be a couple shallow drawers here, and underneath there'll be a deeper router drawer. And then on this side will be all drawers. This ended up just right for sustainer. So when I set the depth of this back here, I set that to the sustainer to hold it kind of out flush, and there's still a little room here for me to be able to get in there and pull it out. That was absolutely an accident. I just made the space in between was 32 inches with one divider, and that's apparently what they measured a sustainer to. I screwed these into the cabinet and then just wrapped in trim. So it's really a simple build. Underneath I have these same casters, which come from Caster HQ. This has been my bit storage solution thus far. I'm building, I think 24 drawers, tall drawers with this maple here. This is all my other maple I got for I think a good deal. It was very wet, and I planed all of it roughly, built a enclosure over it, put a dehumidifier in there, and dried it out, and it worked beautifully. My shop right now is more of a storage unit. Most of this material is going to go into the lean-to, and I will have my shop again, and there'll be a video forthcoming on me turning this mess into a beautiful masterpiece. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, wanted to show you the progress so far, and I'm sure I will show you the end result. I had gotten some Doug fir off of a job, but I didn't have a whole lot of it. So I decided, why not use this for the router table drawers? I got the last drawer glued up. This is going to be the top drawer, and so I ended up running out of plywood, so I just glued up a piece of cherry I had, and that's going to be the one drawer I'll actually kind of see the most. The drawers beneath that will have router bits, these small drawers. And so they'll actually have a secondary bottom in here with holes drilled for the router bits. Big drawer down here. This will be the short drawers. Will go right in here, which is where the router cavity is filling. So if you come to the other side here, my dark and messy shop, there's going to be a door here, and there'll be a vacuum system hooked up there. So here's the big drawer complete. Just ignore that. You'll never see it, right? Only you and I will know it's there. This piece was too short, so I decided early on to just screw it through the sides and meant to leave these tails a little longer, but I ended up cutting both sides and milling it. Ignore that. Oh, boiled linseed oil. That's gonna be pretty sweet. I think I'm just doing the faces of them and maybe the sides. There'll be wax on the sides too, so I'm not sure. Anyway, this will be cool. Here are the knobs I made for the router table, and I cut them out of a piece of spalted maple stock. The way I made these is just to make a large chunk of wood like this. I routed out this detail off the end. You could do whatever you want with it really, but I just found kind of the length. I wanted the knob from the drawer was comfortable to kind of hook my fingers around but not stick out too far. And I just drilled this hole in the center and put a screw in there on a longer stick and was able to just run it through the router, spin it, run it through again. That was the only safe way I could think to do it. Anyway, that was kind of fun. I lined each handle up using the grain of which piece they were cut off so that each one would match. I ended up gluing up each side using different boards that matched. You can tell one side slightly more reddish hue and the other has a more orange hue. So I ended up gluing them up as one solid panel and then cutting them into drawers after I knew the size. That way I could grain match really well. Kind of an odd look having a different color, but I almost like it. This has been a long time coming. I finally got this thing, got some drawers in here. It had been open for the longest time and I just had crap laying in the bottom, but now we got drawers, so I've been able to put all the guides and different things for the Incra system, my clamp I use, and a couple sanders, big old shaping bit that I have yet to use. My dad gave me. Let's see what else. Empty, and some bit sets for my dovetailing. This is for raising and lowering the router. Then down here, I built this for my routers so they can stand up straight. So I've got a plunge router and I've got just a fixed base router there. And this is just hand tools we use. Bits, things I'm just always reaching for. I fit these the day before, but I think the oil I added made them swell. Or just loose enough I can pull them out. You'd be. All right. So I marked out these for the 1/4 inch bits, and I kind of went with 1 1/4 inches, and I had to fudge it a little to make it fit. And all I'm doing is taking a really fine bit and putting a little hole right in the center. Bought this little Wen drill press for doing leather work. I had a burnisher that I would put in here, and I didn't need anything powerful, and I needed something small, so it worked perfect for that. I swear I have more bits than that, but maybe I don't. A major issue I've been having with the table and its configuration is that there isn't any dust collection. So that was something I knew I needed to solve. I purchased the components to do dust collection, just hadn't gotten around to building some kind of a door. This part of the router, I just put a little door here. They're a little stiff, and I'm able to remove and get inside to mess with the router, clean up whatever I need. I just put a couple magnets here so it would kind of hold it, and then I have just a quick connect that I'll be able to hook up here once I get the piping run over here. And I had a little room underneath, so I ended up just putting a couple sustainers here just to show they fit there, but typically these are on my standing rack. This side here, I just have a trash dustpan. I'm hoping to either I can put easily accessible router bits, whatever I think of. For the moment, this is what I do. Doesn't quite fit, but it's good enough. Here on this side of it, I've got my button. I just made a little thing to wrap the cord and hang some tools that I frequently use. So far, these are the wrenches I have, but I hope to get some smaller wrenches that can actually go in the drawers. Maybe lay this out a little better and have some additional things. Here is the kind of basis for this entire table. This is obviously quite a large router table with the way the Incra fence system works. So this arm comes way back here and locks in by the 32nd, and you can micro adjust this thing with this wheel by putting it to the kind of half lock, and you have the ability to dial it in and then lock her down. It's really a sweet system. It could use some modernizing. You have to use a tool to kind of come in here and move the fence. That's tedious. They could absolutely have just figured out a way to put some levers, make this thing adjustable. Right now it's set up to do routing, so I've offset this fence with this wedge here. It may be overkill for most people, but man, there's a lot of functionality. I use it for dovetails. This guy sits on here, so I can take and go to the marks, do a pass, go to the next mark, do a pass, and it auto locks right into the groove that it needs to be in. It's got this hairline indicator here that you can line up perfectly. And there's the A and the B marks. Also has this guy, and you can use this as just a general stop as well. It's got a micro stop here that kind of goes behind the router bit, and you can custom set that to, or remove it if you don't need. It's a really solid lockup, so when you're locking it in, you can very precisely move a little bit farther back, and then you're locked into a groove, and you tighten these nylon screws, and it is not going anywhere. I can quickly dial this right into the 0 mark and know that I'm centered on the bit. It also has a bunch of templates which are for dovetailing. It's got multiple centering scales and different rulers you can set for different purposes. So as long as you remember what you set them for, you can always leave this main magnetic rule here. That can be left at the 0, and then you might want to set the other one for centering on some dovetail project you're doing. Whatever it might be, it's just another way to customize it for each of your uses. I think they have it set for imperial or metric if you want to get the metric version. Mine is imperial. I have yet to get some kind of a T-track in here so I can put a featherboard on here. I can hook up a featherboard in a track right here. Oh no, I'm really happy, and yeah, so that's about it. Well, if you made it this far, I hope I didn't bore you to death. This was kind of a project I've been really hoping to do for quite some time. I'm really happy with it. Glad it finally came to fruition. There's just something about walking in your shop and seeing a nice piece of shop furniture that makes it so worth the time it took to do. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more. Thank you.